Good morning, Azeroth. It is the 21st of January 2025. Grab your morning beverage and welcome to the stream. We're back on our Druid again, doing some solo shuffle, practicing a little bit, working up our rating, trying to figure out the spec a little bit more as we head towards that 1800 rating for the Elite PvP set. Without further ado, let's get stuck in. Hope you're all doing well today. It's a grey and drizzly day here in the UK, but take it steady. Keep yourselves hydrated. You've got this. Righty. It's beeping over here. Another specialisation. Just quickly grab that. Alright, now I got a comment from a regular viewer Cupid here that shapeshifting will break me out of crowd control abilities like being frozen in place. And sure enough, it does say it on the bottom of each tooltip, but for whatever reason, I hadn't bloody registered it. Nightmare. But another tool in the toolbox. So Roggy, good morning. Hope you're doing well, bub. Happy New Year to you. Hope things have been going alright. We're doing some PvP today. Let's get me signed up. Double check any of the PvP quests that are available. Obvious.
Query crucial. Cycles are short.
Random battlegrounds won't be doing.
May your path be free of
It's rated arenas. I don't think this will count, but I'll pick it up just in case. We don't need any more sparks of war. There's no point going around and doing that. Do have enough honor to grab a gem. Grab one of those.
I have an extended supply of goods for outlanders.
Amulet, braces, belt, and rings. Oh, the belt is conquest, so we'll put the socket on there. Quickly go grab up a gem. How's the queue looking? 13 minutes. That's about average.
Supply of goods for outlanders.
On our versatility gem.
My directive has
Well done you, Surogi, getting through that bit of madness then. Glad it's all better now. Glad you got your cuppa as well. Keep an eye on mine, make sure I drink it before it goes lukewarm again, as so often is the case. There we go. Right, wait in queue, do what we usually do. Head out and just do some casual mining. Speaking of the cuppa, best have a swig ourselves. Right. Oh, one thing I need to make sure I do is knowing that swapping form does indeed do that. Tempted to move bear form. Where have I got it? Okay, I do have it there on my bar, so I can just hit a button. Alright. More prepared than I thought. Morning, Kynan. Good to see you, bub. Hope you're doing well this morning. Nice, Surogi. Exactly, that's the thing. You start off and the tea's like, oh, a little hot. Just a little bit where it's burning my tongue. I'll leave it a moment. And 30 minutes have passed, you pick it up again. Ah, I've done it, I've buggered it. Was the curse of a good brew. Trying to find that perfect temperature.
To leave their tools behind when the Nerubians attack.
Irritated, don't need to overload that one. Where's this all hiding? There you go. Oh no, it's an exploding one. Nope. Usually a waste of time, but that's alright. We only have, assumably, about a month until the next major patch comes out. So we need to get this 800 or so rating on our Druid up to 1800 before then. We'll have to see how we go. Queues are definitely going to be a factor there, but... Oh, no, I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Oh, no. Look in my nose. Ugh, there we go. Got that mute button. It's par for the course, Zerogi. Just have to either succumb and drink it cold, chuck it in the microwave, but I can't do it. I can't put a cup of tea in the microwave. It changes the taste too much, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. As I say, we've about a month to get this wrapped up, and I'm confident from how quickly Solo Shuffle was on the Mage compared to Blitz that it will be doable for his Druid. Assuming I can win some matches. That being the main issue here. We'll see how we go. We're getting better at doing it. It's just going to take more and more practice. I get where my defensives come in now. I kind of get my rotation a bit. We swapped around our spec a touch. And changed the hero talents from Druid of the Claw to... oh, what's the other one called? Wild Stalker. Because Druid of the Claw, you're relying on a proc and then hitting an ability. Whereas Wild Stalker, that's a proc that's already on one of the abilities you're going to be casting anyway. So it just seems more reliable. And it's single target. And it's a bit more self-healing. We'll take it. Main thing, like with Mage and using Polymorph to crowd control the enemy team, is Cyclone on the Druid and doing the same there. But that's going to take practice too. I kind of got there in the end on the Mage. Don't do it, bird. Be chill. Chill where I'm farming. Thank you. And on the evening stream, we've continued to push on Remnant 2. Very much enjoying going back to that game. We're on the 3rd DLC. We've got a good chunk of the zone explored. Another few side dungeons yesterday. Difficult ones as well. I was getting bodied for a good while. But I was having a lot of fun doing so. And then once that zone gets wrapped up and I get to the last boss in it, we're moving on to the boss rush mode for that game. Which, and I've said it on those streams before. The first game, which came out 2019, which was just called Remnant from the Ashes, ended up adding a roguelike mode where you went through each area, fought multiple bosses, kind of making a build as you went. Whereas the boss rush mode, from what I understand, seems to be you can take in what you like and you're just fighting bosses back to back to back. Which isn't quite the same. I have to admit the roguelike mode intrigues me a little bit more from the first game, and I very much enjoyed my time with it. But I'm trying to stay open-minded about the boss rush stuff. From what I've heard from folks who've come and joined the streams and chatted on about it, they really enjoy that boss rush mode, so I'm excited to see. And then so, when we get into the end of January, I will likely be playing Eternal Strands, which is a action RPG coming out for some former BioWare and other game devs. Have made their own indie team. The pre-release footage for that has been quite interesting. There is a demo coming out on the... sometime today, actually, for Eternal Strands, if folks are curious to get a look for themselves. I was already pretty sold, though, so I may end up skipping the demo. We'll see. Depends what general consider. If it comes out and everyone's like, game is broken, unplayable, like, you know, needs some more time in the oven. But so far, everything's looking pretty good for it. Ooh, let me overload this one so it teleports me. Oh. And as I say, as we get through into February, it's going to be Monster Hunter Wilds and Avowed. I've been watching, there's a WoW streamer, called Preach, and he has recently got into Monster Hunter World for the first time, and it has been very amusing to watch his journey go through into that franchise. So it is not the most intuitive from the outget, but once you start getting your teeth into it, it's a lot to offer. So watching him kind of struggle and fight his way through has been very fun. Makes me all the more excited for the sequel. I know there's been a game in between. There was the Switch one, Rise and Sunbreak, that eventually came to PC. I kind of fell off Rise, though, without even trying Sunbreak, and more's the pity, because there were some really cool looking monsters in there, but I just didn't like a lot of the changes they'd made. I liked that combat was faster and snappier. Didn't like that every time I went to a map I had to go and collect bugs. Just to get your base stats up a little bit. Or at least that's what it felt like. But from the one beta test they've done of Wilds, seem very happy with it. At least from the little I played. There's one stream of that up on the channel. I know they've another open beta test come in start of February. And that's going to be on a weekend as well, like Thursday through to a Monday. Be tempted to stream it, it'll depend where we're at with other stuff. But from what I understand, it's going to be exactly the same content that was in the last beta stream. Bar maybe one new monster. And the new monster is called Gypsyros. And it's like this really scraggly looking bird with a flashbang beak that also just pretends to be dead. Real scumbag. It looks like they're just doubling down on that mechanic. But again, more variety in what you're fighting. Always good in those games. Although I've tried to stay clear of too much in terms of footage. Ooh, and we're in. Possibly in. Grab another herb as we're moving around. You have to bear with me if the mic picks up any loudness from the house at the moment. It's a busy morning here. My apologies in advance. Should be alright. Oh, I see that treasure chest, Ruffius. Oh, we can actually go for it. Nope, no we can't. You never know. Hang on. Q might let us, it might not. Even if it doesn't, there'll be... There's usually enough horde players about where it's not possible, but... Well, there's one. Ah, and we're in anyway. Alrighty then. Wake up. First match of the day. Mark of the Wild. Set focus to our allied DPS. So I can see who they're hitting. Become Kitty. What have we got? An Outlaw Rogue, a Fury Warrior, and a Holy Priest. Again, I want to replace this trinket, but I've got some greens I still need to swap out first. That one ring. A couple of bits that were... Yeah. 636 instead of 639. I probably shouldn't have used that gem on the belt slot in that case, but I'll just replace that last. Conquest is still going to take a while to learn. Alright. Here we go. Stunned again. Bleeds going. Stacked up again. I'm going to need to go bare form in a moment. Nah, I got stunned down. Went down real quick. Because I'd already used Bark Skin. Maybe I used Bark Skin a little too early there. Also, because I don't have a trinket to break me out. Oh no, I do have my one, which means that already triggered. Ay, ay, ay. So, getting back to the grips of it. Been almost a week. Well, Plunderstorm days. Won't stand near the flare. Let him see. Let me try and wait for the rogue to pop, then jump on them. Self-heal. Need to try and line of sight this hunter. Well, I can't just stay in bear form though. Oh, Cyclone, that's probably okay. I can start hitting this warrior and he actually fight. Oh, 150 rounds of shuffle done. I feel like getting bodied way more than that last week of solo shuffle on the Druid, but there we are. Because the moment you get bodied in that first round, everyone knows, you are the weakest link. I'm gonna go for you, Druid. We'll see how we go. It was similar on the mage, to be fair, until we got going. I think I need to hold off on dash until we actually get into it, and I certainly could be doing more cycloning to curb the damage on myself. Who you want him, rogue? That one. Gotta keep using Tiger's Fury. More biting, more bleeding, more dots. Put that one back on. More stun. Oh, nice. The rogue put their little smoke bomb down, which meant the healer couldn't get the heals in there. And I stayed alive. Barely. And I need to remember I can hit Heart of the Wild. So then that increases my healing and bumps up my bear form at the same time. I should probably do that every time before I go into bear. It's a long cooldown though, so I get worried. Swap some bleeds onto the other one. back. Get some off heals on friend. Keep those dots going. Wait, how did that... How did the druid get away with stealth in there? I don't quite get that. Were they just not considered in combat? I need to try and get my bleeds on the healer as well, just to keep pressure up on all fronts, I think. Still hard for me to do and manage where I'm spending my stuff. I know I need to be using that stun more as well, but... It's a lot to get my head around with the form shifting. I think the hunter's more of a problem than I'm giving him credit for. I'm struggling to lock him down. Every time it procs for entangling roots or regrowth, I'm nearly always hitting regrowth. I need to swap. Okay, use all that. Some on the healer. One fire. More self-healing. Out. Line of sight a little bit. Heal off with the bear, but it's not going to be much. It's then this bit of going back into cat form. Only to get bodied. It's like, how long am I meant to be staying in bear? I can't just sit in it the whole time, because then I'm doing absolutely no DPS. We keep trying. We keep practicing. And at this current rating, I'm not going to be losing much, if any. So that's okay. On the mage, we didn't seem to be losing any until we got past the 1500 mark, so it'll just be a slower gain. But as we do that, we're getting conquest, we're getting more honour. The conquest weapon will help. I'm waiting for the rogue to just jump on the warrior. Come here. That one. Okay, probably do it there. Alright, he's turtled, top again. That skin. Mod biting, come back here. Again, the moment I went out of bed, feels a squeeze. And that's it. I just need to be swapping so quickly to constantly remove slows. Down. And back up full health. And this frenzied regen comes off cooldown quicker than I give it credit for. Not enough though. Oy. As I say, it's still a plus to the rating. Let's have a gander. Damage wise, I am not doing the lowest, which is fine. Certainly a lot more I could be doing better. It's like Aiden, only half paying attention to the chat where I'm just getting bodied there.
Our miners had to leave their tools behind.
I think you're absolutely right, and it's especially when you're just on people and then getting stabbed in the gut repeatedly. It's like, and at what point am I casting Cyclone? Because I see the other Druid. I see the other Druid is just doing loads of Cycloning. But whenever I'm not focused on doing damage, I'm focusing on, like, I don't want to be dead. But again, noticing their shifting forms, even getting rid of slows and stuff, was just something that wasn't in my brain before now. So, using that to kind of just constantly be doing... I'm not using the hotkey as much as I should be doing. Shoot. But that constant jumping about is doing work. I just need to get used to it. Also, I chuck in the regrowth. Like, it's just second habit to be like, oh, it's shining for the instant cast. Hit it on myself immediately. And not always remembering to hit it on my teammate as well. But to be fair, I was the one being hit most of the time in that scenario. Not touching that easy mine, you can go sod yourself. There is also a lot of me just panic tabbing around when the moment a target has their defensive up, like the rogue suddenly is unhittable, the hunter's got the turtle up, and I lose track of where the healers are real quickly. That's not something that's just for the druid. But I will say, being back in the melee, it's way more noticeable now. In a way, it isn't when I'm playing my paladin. I feel like in my paladin, I end up self-healing myself so much, or have bubble and lay on hands and all of that, and a number of defensive skills I'm way more used to, even if they're effectually the same, that I've never felt the need to keep a healer that close by. Also, you know, you have your Divine Steed dash, you've got what feels like more stuns, though it isn't really. Mighty Bash isn't as quick as Hammer of Justice, but even so, it's another when to hit the button more than anything else. But like for the Druid on my team in that last one there, cycloned the target I was on, so I was like, okay, we go to the next target. And then they cycloned that one immediately as if to say, no, no, you don't hit these people. I'm like, well, who the bloody hell do you want me to hit then? You know? Never seemed to want me to hit the healer. But again, it's just going to take time. Just got to have some patience for it. I do apologise for my throat, by the way. I can feel that slight "you've a cold coming on" seize up happening, so. Oh, and that quest isn't working in the shuffle. Make sure we supper's beverage. You all do the same out there. Keep yourselves hydrated. Give me those herbs. Oh, still warm. Gotta remember to keep doing me knowledge. Need to put those in my bank as well. Bum. Tree branch, how could you do this? Eat the snake. Another thing I'm doing, I know for efficiently building up my combo points, I need to just be hitting Brutal Slash. Because, you know, it's got those charges, you hit the button immediately, you build up the points. But just habit from leveling, I'm hitting my 1 and 2 keys instead for the other moves. Just need to break the habit. It's also making sure, before I use either of my combo enders, that I have hit a couple other abilities first. Make them stronger. Where's the talent? That does it. Blood Talons. 3 different combo point generators. Then within 4 seconds, damage of the next 3 rips or ferocious bites increased by 25% of their full duration. So basically, I shouldn't be doing my enders other than like a bite proc. Which I know folks don't tend to use this one, but I like having a random bite. I don't know where else. I think others put it into... Some of the builds I was looking at would just put it here for another 6%, but that 6% for me, it just go, NUM! That's personal preference at that point. And I like it. Wolf now. That. Do your rip. Get the bleeds up. Ah, the delightful Hobbit-esque music in this part of the Isle. Let's just take a breath for a moment. Reassess, it's fine. Coming up in my YouTube Shorts feed of late, there's a channel that goes into some behind-the-scenes Lord of the Rings stuff that I'm watching. Like how much Peter Jackson loved tea, always had a tea in his hand. How he'd tease all the actors for not being uncomfortable often enough. Like in The Hobbit, the scene where they were covered in spiders' webs. Stringing them along quite literally for a little bit. I'm going, I understand not seeing the Hobbit ones. But when I was younger, I definitely watched all of the special edition behind the scenes. Big ass DVD box my dad used to have. And yet I'm seeing scenes in here that I'm like, I don't recall any of these. On the other hand, it is really nice to see an old favourite be giving me information that is new. Or even if it's forgotten and I'm just garbage memory, but lovely to see. We are working on some new Lord of the Rings stuff. There's meant to be a Gollum movie coming out, right? I didn't mishear that at some point. That's definitely happening. There's some word about trying to get Ian McKellen back for it, and obviously Andy Serkis as Gollum, which You've got to enjoy that, Precious. It's an absolute delight. No, he isn't. You know, doing all that for hours on end until his voice is utterly destroyed. That was one of my favourite behind-the-scenes things. He was talking about, like, the drink he'd make to help with doing that voice repeatedly. A mixture of syrup and honey, and it was just this thick, gelatinous thing that would sliver and, like, sludge its way down his throat. Said it was awful, but it was a necessity. Compare it to, well, I have to have honey in my tea, otherwise I'd do it in my voice, so. Back into the shuffle. Maldraxxus again. That doesn't bode well. That's that hunter we saw in the other one. Monk is new. Disc Priest and a Fury Warrior. No, Disc Priest. A Marksmanship Hunter. Bum, bum. Oh, the lever has become 2 levers. Terrifying. Very specifically undead monk. Works quite well for him. I like that transmog. The hunter is just in current PvP stuff. Right, let's see how we get on. Morning, Andy. I'm doing alright, bub. Happy New Year. Hope you're doing well. Been a wee bit. Oh, hey up. I got taken out of stealth. Sadness. Nope. Right, and that's where I can slow him down. Try and get my heals on the other one. Nay, I got rooted. Or dots. Goddamn turtle stance. Gonna go boot the healer a little bit. More dots. Bit to off heal. He didn't get the off heal in time. Oh, it's no worry at all, Andy. It's very kind of you to come hang out in the morning. I appreciate it immensely. I'm sorry to hear it's been some heavy work stuff for you, bub, but well done getting through. I hope it's a little calmer for you. At least for the foreseeable future. Let's try again. Double hunter. Lots of running, lots of pets, lots of turtle stance. Yeah. Wrong order again for the dots. Oh, nature locked me. I think whenever I do try and cast Cyclone, somebody's on me. Right, at least the hunters are split up now. Interesting transmog on this blood elf. They've gone very horde themed. Horde scout, I like it. Gonna make sure we don't get flared. How did they know? Oh, thank you, Andy. That's very kind of you, bub. Okay, there's that big cocoon. Oh, that was a dumb use of my bat skin. Should have done the other one. No feigning death, please. I know you're not dead. You're very much alive. Nah, the monk got out of the CC. That's the other thing. They're always getting out of the CC real quick. We won. Wait, what happened there? They were at like 3/4 health. What happened? I'm not going to turn an eye at a win. We'll take that. Huzzah! I'm still not quite sure what happened in that one. I was chasing people, putting bleeds on them. I was doing okay. Wasn't dying. Got a couple of cyclones, but it wasn't a DC because everybody's here. Very strange. Ooh, other hunter getting bodied. Turn the healer. Hop on friend. Oh, they've been thingied. Wait. Forget that ice one's like a big old block. Start getting some dots on you. Ooh, bite. That worked out. That worked out. I think the other hunter was putting those ice traps down. Sometimes it works out. I've still, my Cultarian here, I've not found a way to work Haymaker into the mix. Just for that bop and stun. And not bad. I really need to figure out how to work that in somewhere. More dots. Put some more dots about. Friend needs help. Cyclone the other one, so focus on the healer. Just so they leave friend alone. Get stunned. No. Only just procs went down. I don't know if there's any value in swapping to do like rejuvenation on an ally on occasion. That kind. I'm trying to put it in my head how I'd play Paladin. Whenever Flash of Light was off cooldown and I'd have it spec to be instant, I'd chuck that. Whenever I'd see someone's health go low and Word of Glory at the time, add some bonus holy power, I would bob that on someone, but mainly because it takes me out of my forms. That's part of what I'm unsure about. And I also don't know, because I've never really played an energy character. If I'm spending mana on my heal, is that buggering with my energy? I don't know what the correlation is there. Oh, wow. Fighting and biting and fighting. Oh, I can remove that. Bob that on you. Bob it on me. Hey. About on par with most of the other damage dealers, bar that hunter. Bits and bobs. That warrior immediately, by the way, jumped on that priest. That priest's health went from full and nearly dead. I hit what buttons I had, but bloody hell. Absolutely wild. Then, of course, because healers and priests, it was fine. Let me grab this orb. What am I going to do? I'm going to get us signed up again. And I'm going to take a quick bio break while we're in the queue. I should be pretty safe stealthed over here. Probably. Probably be fine. Pop that up again. Yep, we've climbed from 800 to 1-2. Again, this isn't the hard bit, but get in there. And the bar for showing conquest is still currently broken, so I can't actually see how close I am to the weapon, but what will happen is I will get sent it in the mail at some point. Alright, let me just tippity type into the chat. There we go. That's signed up. Alright, folks, stretch your legs, refill your beverage. I'll be back with you in a few minutes. See you soon. If the queue pops, it pops, but we should be fine. And we're back. Thank you for your patience. Did we get unlucky with the queue? No, of course not. Not a 10-minute queue. Right. Headset back on. Swig of his beverage. How are we doing, cup of tea? Oh, we have gone past lukewarm. Sadness. Let's continue as gathering. Still try at least one day a week on the weekly reset. Take the main over to the Siren Isle just to gather up some Flame Blessed Iron. Work on getting those cosmetics. And then going through all our different War Within alts. Keep those Profession Weeklies going just a little bit. And season to season, how much PvP I do will vary on what are the elite sets. Do I fancy any of those colour palettes? Or any of the sets in general? I need to double check for Undermine. But again, I've said this before, but I was very surprised seeing the bits on the PTR. Obviously no story stuff, but the tier sets are not as goblin themed as I would have thought they'd be for it. The world sets are, the stuff you do from questing, but the actual tier sets themselves look pretty regular fantasy, and there's some interesting designs going on. We'll have to see which colours make it wear once it launches. And I'm unlikely to be doing Mage, Druid and Evoker again unless something really speaks to me. We'll see. The hope for me is always that there's a Paladin one available so I can get a lovely set on my main. And that's the class I'm most comfortable on, where I don't feel the need to look up guides and learn it that way, because, again, I've enjoyed my Paladin for a good number of years and PvP'd on him for a good long while. I just like off-healing a lot on Ret Paladin. Find it a lot of fun. Going straight healer for Blitz a little less worrying, but especially in Solo Shuffle, there's so much pressure on there to keep everybody alive. Feels like a nightmare to get into. I'm sure it would result in much faster queue times, but level of responsibility I'd be real worried about. I was curious how well maybe Augmentation Evoker did in Arena, but I know of it being more of a support spec, and it's changed a lot since it launched in that way. And there's still more changes on the way for it. I don't know quite where it stands these days, but I never saw it in the Arena. I saw plenty of Preservation, saw plenty of, it's not called Destruction, it might be, but, you know, the DPS one. I never saw Augmentation. I think I saw one in one Blitz match, and that was about it. Doesn't necessarily bode well. And even then, Devastation, that was named, but I haven't seen many on as Mage or as Druid. Any Devastation Evokers at all. I thought that was a lot of fun to play, at least in Blitz. Maybe in Shuffle it feels a lot worse to play, but I don't know. The setup of your Nullifying Shroud into breathe on everyone, into do that big Pyre Breath, not Pyre, the one that, what's it called? Dragon Rage, right? Shoots a load of pyres and then procs your Giant Slaying Mastery into beam after beam after beam and Fire Breath and instant Fire Breath. I actually found it a lot more fun than I was worried. I'm kind of glad we did that one first, though. I assume because we don't see many, mayhaps they don't do so well. Even if I'm struggling on the Feral Druid is certainly one that I've seen a lot of in Arena, but we mainly see rogues, hunters, and mages. At least from my perspective. Hunters seem to reliably do a lot of damage every time. Scariest to me this season's been Shadow Priest. Those are always the ones where I see the biggest of numbers. Shadow Priests have always been just a little bit scary. And on the healer side of things, I know it's hard to say. Disc Priests have always been a source of historical frustration for me, especially thinking back in the day in Mists of Pandaria on my Paladin. I was always running around a priest with a barrier on thinking, dear God, I'm never hitting their health bar. Just feels like I'm constantly chipping at a barrier. It feels a little more doable these days, but Again, not knowing all of their movesets in and out, and seeing stuff like ultimate pet, like, oh, what's it called? I don't know. They turn into an angel and fly up a bit without having to die. That was the other thing. Whenever you saw the angel form, for whether it was Holy or Disc, that was always like, right, I've got him. We just have to survive for 10 to 15 seconds and we win. But now it's like, that just seems to be happening. Yeah, there is one aspect, like, I could spend a weekend going through and reading every class's capabilities, every move. It's looking at how all of them play in PvP. It's a level of getting into it. Again, I'm just here for the transmogs. Yeah, I just want to look pretty. More than anything else. I'm not pushing to be in the challenger brackets or nothing. Mind you, it is nice to know that. It's weird. For whatever reason, combatant or higher. Which one's combatant? Right? Because this goes up so very slowly. Even on wins, it was 2%. Like, we got the seasonal mount, which was the weird spider thing. I'd much rather they gave me the saddle first. And then I could choose the seasonal one, and then maybe they give me a different saddle thereafter. I think it's a problem for anyone new to PvP who comes in, maybe as a mount collector, as their main things. Like, I want to get one of these PvP mounts, one of these vicious mounts. It's a lot of PvP. Even if we were on a character who was at that rank, 2% at a time feels like a very slow crawl. Especially when plenty other parts of the game have been a lot quicker. It sounds like folks have been able to gear up in PvE a lot quicker this time around. And we know for Delves, that was certainly a big bump for me as a solo player. And the only point of contention there was the gilded crests. You know, you couldn't get those other than maybe finding one of those bounty maps if Zekvir invaded your Delve. And then maybe you'd get some. Now, in the upcoming patch, they're changing it so you can still get them through that bounty map, but also if you clear Delves at tier 11, which prior to this, other than doing it once for an achievement, it was like, I am never going in there again. There's no bonus rewards. It takes way longer. I'm sweating all the goddamn time. But if there's a genuine reward that can be... I think there's a weekly cap on it, but even so, that's the same as everything else. Being able to actually level up your gear to a much higher point solo is, I think, going to be very good. And it will definitely help with the Zekvir progression, or whatever whatever the double question mark boss will be in Undermine. I'm really interested to see what lessons they've learned from Zekvir. I enjoyed the encounter. I had a good time learning it. It was just a lot of back to back to back. You make one mistake and you're absolutely buggered, which is okay on the one hand. It was just how the abilities were cast. Like that big ground slam, for example, if it started focusing on Brand and then Zekvir decided, do you know what, I'm going to hit the player, it would just swing around the entire battlefield. Then other stuff like the eggs I found manageable. The heal if I was on top of my interrupts, but because I was on Paladin and I was able to use a talent where if I got on my horse, it got rid of a slow, and the dot he would put on you, that if you don't interrupt the dot, or if you do interrupt the dot rather, you wouldn't then be able to interrupt the heal. So you just had to take the dot, and it's like, right, I can bubble to get out of it. Bran will take one off me every 3 casts, maybe, if he's feeling up to it. But I was able to kind of mitigate that part of the fight. And obviously on Paladin, you're in plate, you've got a lot of self-healing, you've got a lot of defensive stuff. I don't know how it was for a lot of the other classes, but from my experience, I'd be a little worried if you didn't outgear it. I'm still very happy to get the Let Me Solo Him achievement. It felt good to have that done, especially before the Siren Isle came out, and then I figured the Cersei's Ring, the constant upgrade we've been doing, would probably... Excuse me. Would probably push it to a point where... didn't feel quite as good to get the win at the time. I was happy for the possibility. Like, if it got to that point, fine. That's all well and good. We still get him down before Undermine, but... I was very happy to get him done at that point. I think the biggest changes to Delves and all that won't be seen until we get to midnight, though. Well, they've had a full expansion's worth of feedback, design changes, and potentially some under-the-hood stuff that they can't really knock out in the 0.1 patches in between. You know, maybe at that point, we get around to the end of midnight, not even playing that part of the game anymore. Maybe we full focus on player housing. If they indeed work professions into it in a meaningful way, where going back and getting, I don't know, copper, tin, fell iron, you know, all the old materials. And I want the fanciest curtains, a really nice armor rack, and all kinds of garbage. I say garbage, I do so endearingly. You know what I mean? If there's ways and means to craft and build all that stuff and really customize a home, I'd be way more inclined to do that than a lot of stuff. I know, I've always loved that aspect in games. Building yourself a little home. It was always a source of frustration for the survival genre. You know, things like your Ark and your Rust and your... And you get even Minecraft to a degree. You grab your thing, you bop a few trees and you build something. When I'd play with old friends, it would always be, right, everyone's starting together. We're all gathering resources. And I'm the one who's like, right, I'm going to get a load of wood and stone. I'm going to get the foundational stuff. And I'm going to start blocking out a gigantic first settlement for everyone to come and enjoy. And by the time I've blocked out the main thing, everyone's like, right, we have to find somewhere more interesting. And I'm like, God damn it. I spent days on this floor. And everybody's gone. It's still a very cathartic feeling just to be mining the thing, putting stuff down, sorting boxes and organising that for everyone.
Looks like there's treasure nearby.
Still enjoyed all that.
And that means treasure hunters.
It's the idea of building, especially in a decent RPG. I'm trying to remember the last time I played a game with a really good bit of housing for a player that had the right amount of customization. I'm thinking of recently, like Dragon Age, like Veilguard had like a tiny bit, and it was kind of inconsequential because you spent so little time in the area you could customize. At least customize thoroughly. And in Inquisition before that, you could customize the whole castle. It was also the opposite problem there. You're too stretched. It's a bit much. There's an action RPG called Wayfinder, which that's a bit of a troubled development history, but launched when it did its whole rework and they weren't with Digital Extremes anymore, by taking all of its monetization stuff and making it all available to just earn in-game without any microtransactions anymore, meant that you could find it all as you were just out playing the game. That was fantastic, because then you'd find like all your housing items and stuff like that just out and about while playing. So I ended up doing a lot more customization there and really enjoying it. Nope, get stunned. Nom 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 nom, it's ours. We're going to take this chest for the Alliance. Could it be? Oh my god. This never happens. We did it! Oh, the booble. My chest. Our chest. More dots. No. I think not. Self-healing going. Try and stay alive. Gonna go down. My bleeds off before I do. Insects. One. That one. That one. Ursoc's thing on it so they all get bomped about. Oh no, we're outnumbered again. People are fighting for it. Can't give them it that easy. No defensive cooldowns now though. That's going to be all she wrote, I think. A valiant effort. Alas. It once again goes to the Horde on this server shard. Yeah. But yeah, in Wayfinder, you could really do a lot to set up your house. Many pets you could put in and interactables, and some stuff you'd find in different forms of content would give you, say, a consumable you could use, like a chest on the wall that every 24 hours would give you a key that you could use in dungeons to open a chest, stuff like that. Some interactable stuff. Problem with WoW, if you tie any player power to it, people will be upset. So I imagine they're not going to do much at all in that vein. It'd be nice to get a little bit of gold or something, but they learned from Warlords, the moment you put a load of player resources in an area like that, especially if there's also an auction house, nobody wanted to hang out in the cities anymore. And it did a lot of damage to the social aspects of the game. I'm sure they're very well aware of that issue. But some functionality, like surely you'd have a mirror and could transmog in your house. It'd be really silly if you couldn't. Definitely won't be an auction house. I'd like the ability to put a blacksmithing table there. That's what I'm thinking of goddamn Skyrim. I've had a lot of complaints for Skyrim over the years, but one thing I enjoyed was setting up a house. Alright, I've got my enchanting table, I've got my blacksmithing thing. So I can... And then the alchemy stuff as well, so you could make potions that buff your enchanting and buff your blacksmithing, and then make stuff from then to buff something that buffs your potions, and then recraft the potions to buff the other profession stuff even more, and they slowly stack on top of each other till you make axes that free shot the end boss. Which just kind of felt disappointing. It was cool I could do all that within the game. That's a tangent off to its own. I don't want to go off on one on Skyrim. Most fun I had with that game, instead of bashing on it, oh, huzzah, was I started a new playthrough a good number of years later. We held a tenant for the Khajiit character I made, which was honest work for honest pay. So, just started woodworking. Like a month of in-game time. Just chopping wood, handing it in, going to bed, getting up and doing it again. In the same way chopping down a tree in Minecraft and building your house, it felt like that. Very cathartic. I hope in whatever Elder Scrolls 6 is, they have a way of kind of making playing like that a little more rewarding or engaged a little bit. I don't know. That game got announced way too early and has been in the background for so very long. God knows when it even comes out. Oh look, Devastation Invoker. Watch it body me this time. I shouldn't have opened my bloody mouth. I'm for mostly brown and orange transmog. It works. It's alright. And it gets sulfur ongoing. Shaman's a bit hodgepodge, but that's fine.
It's time.
It's a solid
for
male
the
set.
show. Don't disappoint me.
I love Militia. Wish she'd followed through. The Evoker can be squishy. They're very mobile, though. I don't want to just jump on them in the middle up here where I'm out of sight of my healer. My teammates are all the way on the other side as well. What are we going to do, team? We can't just wait the whole thing out. You're so out of range that if I jump on them, the healer is not going to be able to save my bacon. Oh! That's a waste of a cooldown, Evoker. That's a waste of a cooldown. No. Wait, what? Somebody just left. God damn it. Oh, whoa, what's happening to the... Well, at least we didn't lose any rating. I wonder why they got in and then just like, well, you know. People can leave for any number of reasons. Emergencies can come up. Left the oven on, kitchen's caught fire, fleeing for their lives. Or just lost track of time. I can't hold it against them too much. It just means we're back in queue for another 13 bloody minutes. This thing, there needs to be more incentive to get people to PvP. And at the moment, stuff like, oh, this season we're adding a new arena map. It's like, right. I mean, that's nice. It ain't gonna push the needle for the PvP side of the game. And honestly, I'm pretty out of touch in terms of what the wider player base regards for PvP. How do people feel about Blitz since it was added in the War Within? I really liked it. Unfortunately, it's a really crap way to get your rating up. So whether you're just going for the transmog, or you're going for the mount, or you're trying to push the titles and trying to get the real gladiator mount, it's just more efficient to do solo shuffle. Making the queues for Blitz longer over time and all of that. If it rewarded way more rating and was less punishing when you lost, I think more people would probably stick with it, but at the moment it feels like they weren't going to get there for it. Again, I would much rather be playing Blitz than I would solo shuffle, but especially when the elite sets are so time limited. And yeah, I might be able to, in theory, we get like 5 or 6 wins in a row in solo shuffle where I'm getting 4 to 6 at a time on the rounds. Maybe I get it pretty quickly. But the risk of doing Blitz from what we saw on our mage, on the Evoker it was fine. Start of the season, and it might have been buggy. But at the start of the season, we were getting loads of rating on the Evoker. We ended up getting to 1800 in what didn't feel like too long at all. Still took effort, but it felt very achievable. Whereas the moment we started doing it on the mage, like going in through November, I think, it became clear after a while that I was going to be stuck at around the 1400 mark. Consistently. Because even if you got a decent win and got, say, plus 14 rating, plus 9, you get one loss that's like minus 20, and it's just like the hours required to get it back again, much more difficult. So I think solo shuffles setup of you're constantly rotating who's on your team. Right, so you can't necessarily get completely bodied. Like, there's an element of not necessarily carrying it, but I think I certainly have seen some players who do. But you can make way more of an impact. That's much harder to do in the Blitz, unless it's a flag carrying one and you're a monk. Because, man, some of those Blitz games where a monk would get the flag and then would be across the map. They're gone. I'm there. I've got a stun. And they're away. And I've never seen them again. I kind of get, in hindsight, how all their capabilities work and whatnot. But that's not, you know, think of a new player coming in who's just trying to get into PvP and they see something like that. You're like, what? Why am I going to play this game? What's the bloody point? I can't get them. They're gone. Even if you understand, like I ended up doing, like, okay, the monkeys use Transcendence. They have a spirit body outside the flag room, like a mage can recall back to. Then they can fly and kick and go flying across most of the map. Then they got like 2 or 3 speed boosts, and then they got like their rolls as well. And if you do get on them, then there's Life Cocoon, which I bloody hate Life Cocoon. It's this big visual FU to anyone attacking it, and I don't know. It's always ticked me off as Life Cocoon. Part of me wishes it was only available to Mistweaver monks. But to be fair, flag carrier monks I'm speaking of tend to be the healers. Which in Blitz is kind of more frustrating when you're on their team, because it's like, right, you're not there healing. You're just flag running. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing in and of itself, it just feels weird. But I don't think the elite sets followed by the vicious mount and any prestige beyond that, it's not enough to get people in. And maybe when player housing comes out and they're like, oh, here are some of the PvP rewards, maybe that moves the needle a tiny bit. Like more cosmetic folks are like, okay, I want to get those PvP duvet covers. You know what I mean? Like, however they go about it. I want a big statue in the backyard for that season's PvP. Might shift the needle a tiny bit, but it's not going to change fundamentals of it. And honestly, I don't know. There's ways to try and slow down when you get stomped in a blitz or random battlegrounds and one team just ends up hovering around the graveyard of the other and you're just kind of stuck there and people are leaving or they're AFKing and it's a nightmare. You want to have a bit of a comeback mechanic available. And I don't know what rewards you could offer. I mean, you've already got a transmog set, you've already got a mount. Housing stuff will shift that needle for the entire game, not just PvP, but, you know, that's a little bit. Between solo, shuffle, and blitz, there are solo ways to get into rated battlegrounds. I imagine the group scenes are a little healthier? Question mark? Anyone knows, you're welcome to inform me on the matter. No, and then the epic battlegrounds, which obviously they aren't rated at all. Half of them just feel broken. And they don't feel like PvP game modes. And for Ashran and Alterac Valley, it's like 3/4 of your matches in those are just running to an NPC, then running to the next one. I did one Alterac Valley where it felt like a fight, but then you get into the same problems where it's a bit of a nightmare for melee. And anyone who's not, you know, anyone who's running old hardware really struggles with that amount going on screen. Even turning down all your settings for some folks, it ain't enough. I remember WoW's played by a lot of folks on a lot of different setups. And even some of the Steam numbers from over Christmas for what kind of graphics cards and whatnots people use. There's still plenty of people in like the 1080 series of cards. The 40 series is up there now on Steam. It's pretty. The numbers are. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but they're pretty interesting numbers to have a look at. Even then, there's a lot of talk that the 40 series Nvidia cards aren't actually being utilized that much. So people have to consider optimization a lot more, so they can't turn on all these features. I'm still on a 3080, and I'm doing okay. I can play most things on high, if not ultra. Probably going to become a problem in the next 5 years. We have a video of just CES before the end of the year, or earlier this one, announced the next set of cards at 580, 590, etc. Very pricey. Probably all going to get scalped, that's the other problem. But you'll never be able to bloody buy one, even if you want to and can afford it. But that jump in power as well feels pretty unnecessary right now when not many games are making use of it at all. Ironically, a lot of people said one of the most recent games to actually feel next-gen was the Indiana Jones game that came out. And that's not a franchise for me, not one I've got much affinity for, but I can appreciate looking at it and going, man, that's a pretty looking game. Whereas maybe, I don't know, 5 to 8 years ago, you were getting some really impressive visuals, but nothing seems to have really, really pushed the boundary since then. I'm kind of excited to see what Monster Hunter Wilds does with that in comparison to World. If they want to make that more open, you're staying out there, it feels more alive. That's going to be done less through really, really, really high-end visuals. I'm sure it's going to be similar to World, but better. But that's more about how alive the world feels, how the monsters act, how they patrol around and engage with each other. Like the ecosystem it's all built in. Power helps them put more of that in there. I think that's certainly a showcase for it. And by all accounts, the Switch 2 is not going to be that much of a jump up from the first one. Doesn't have to be for Nintendo. Like, people will buy their exclusives. And yeah, they're damn good games the vast majority of the time. Certainly don't think it'll change too much in the graphics world by any means. So in the reveal trailer they were using one of the Joy-Cons as like a mouse. I don't quite get what that means. Whether that's just web-based functionality or if they're going to do what Nintendo does, which is, oh, we're going to build like a few Nintendo games that make use of this feature. Oh, my chest. Ha ha ha. For the Alliance. Death Knight just AFK there. What's that achievement? Open 5 crates within the war within a moment. Okay. Yeah. That's right, Horde. It was me. It was me. Oh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Look at them coming here all hopeful. Sometimes we get lucky. Speaking of, how's that queue doing? Hey, it's getting longer. We'll keep going. We'll try and do a few more. I might end up taking a stop a little early though. My throat is worse than yesterday. I'm not at the point where I'm a complete frog, but I can certainly, and I don't know how audible it is on yours end, dear viewer. Whether that's live chat or later, you'll have to let me know, but it certainly feels a bit pitched down unintentionally. It's like something's in there just scratching away, you know. And that's the worry of, is this just going to be fine and heal itself? And we're all going to be good and I'm worrying over nothing? Or tomorrow I'm going to wake up and it's like there's a spider living in there and I'm like... Yeah. We'll have to see. I'm always of the opinion where if I can stream on bugger all sleep, like if I'm feeling groggy, I can manage and I'm alright. But if my throat's completely shot, knowing that if I push through that, I'm going to do some damage and make later streaming more difficult, I will take the day if I have to. Because if I push it and I end up buggering my voice, I could take out the next week or cause permanent damage that I need to be cognizant of. Such concerns would be less of a concern if I never got tobacco out of my life, but there we are. One thing at a time. Routine streaming and trying to build up a career was coming first. Hoping routine would defang a bit of stress. We'll see. I feel like I'm getting there. I've been streaming since end of July last year. I'm doing my best. I know one thing that should be the next thing I look into, and I'm just worried about starting it, is dual streaming to Twitch. Because YouTube growth, while it is growing, it is much slower than I've seen a few other channels, and even some WoW channels, pop up in the meantime since I've started, and very speedily overtake me. And I think I know why. Because YouTube as a platform isn't necessarily used or built for streaming in the same way Twitch is. So, because I don't have any, regular videos, let's say, your standard edited and bobbed up, whether that's long form, short form, or, 20 minutes at a time, the lack of those, I think, is hamstringing me a bit without the assistance of Twitch. So duo streaming is certainly something I need to look into. On the video side of it, I'd have to take a day or two during a week to put those edits together. The goal in talking with doctors was to try not to work weekends. But all still to be managed. The main thing I'm concerned about was overdoing it, going too hard, too fast, burning out, and then being like, sod all this. I can't do it. Getting overwhelmed. And I thought if I tried to do all of that immediately, that is exactly what would have happened. I kind of did that, where I was also streaming on Saturday and Sunday as well. I wouldn't do the evening stream, but I'd still do these morning WoW streams. So I was still waking up for at 7 AM to get going for 9. And that was really quickly evidently showing its toll. I don't know how much that came across on said streams, but came across to others in my life who were like, you need to slow it down. Slow it down. Not in me panicking, being in a rush to be like, I need to be successful. Or I expect to be within X time frame. I know a lot of these things, there's a lot of luck involved. And what YouTube mainly wants is consistency, which is what I'm trying my best to do. And hopefully my silly voice can resonate with more folks. That's the goal. So not panicking and burning out would be ideal. Hey, speaking of not panicking, the arena. All panic. All day. Every day. This old one. A number of years running in circles around pillars, this one. I haven't seen it much lately. I'm a nosy at people's transmogs. Very fancy Nightborn. It's all matching her eyes with the purples and darks. And then Human Warrior for I am the dragon. I mean, I get what you were going for with the colour scheme. It kind of works. They got the Logash swords. It's okay. The extremely bare chest. Sure, let's see how we get on. Alright, quick swig of his beverage. Set focus to the DPS. Keep half an eye on who they're fighting. I think I need to edit that frame a little bit so they're a little higher. Or a little lower so mine's a bit higher so I can see a little better. Nom, followed by nom. Okay, I need to swap target, do some more bleeds. Again. Fire, bite, followed by bite. More dots. Heals in the spot above it. That should be okay. No sleepwalking. Come back. Ah, blessing. Alright. Friend. Oh, he's immune when he's up there doing that goddamn thing. Didn't know. Up there, get some heals. Get some more heals. Might have to bark skin. Probably not great to do that whilst in there, and not stunned, but there we are. Get you. Gotcha. Okay, there. That was a good cyclone. That helped. It's a very drawn out fight, though. It's the longest we've seen today. Now we have the Disc Priest in standard building my PvP stuff. Paladin is... They had a set at one point, but the shoulders have got involved. Red, green and blue going on. Bit odd. Right, see what mischief I can manage. Try and get those 3 stacks of nullifying shroud off real quick. Whoa! I hit both defensives there without realizing it. Wow! Everyone's health all went down super quick altogether. That was bloody rough. I'd have no idea what even happened there. Huge amount of damage all came out at once. Oh man, my DPS doing garbage by comparison. Holy crap. There's that Evoker AoE damage. I had forgotten just how crazy that can be. I need to get in there. I need to bite someone. I need to go straight for that furry warrior. The Evoker again just blew up the target I wasn't on. Sweet gods, why did I ever stop playing Evoker? That's crazy. If I could get to them real quick before they hit Nullifying Shroud. Because that's a big part. That's free I stop crowd control, you know. It's really important to get that cast off. That's something I learned on Devastation real quick, is you have to get that cast. Nope. Almost. Bag. How much are we sat on here? Oh, they've got most of the conquest stuff. This is an Arubian embellishment. I've never even seen that. I didn't even know you could put that on PvP weapons. Alright, well. I guess whoever's in the round with this Evoker's winning that round, but there we are. Crazy. Oh, Warrior was like, no, I'm going to try and stop you casting that at all. Immune, swap to the heal, do a bit of bleed. Don't want to be disoriented, thank you. Please! And slow them down so the evoker can get away. Got to try and just cover them, I think. No. Okay. Gotta get on and kill him. The warrior had the right idea. I don't know if I can get to him fast enough to stop the shroud, though. I don't even know if the warrior made it last time. He looked close. Oh yeah, a skull bash is a ranged attack. Keep forgetting. Nope. Okay, that's shroud taken off. Oh, I haven't got my main bleed going. What am I doing? Come on. Get stun. Gotcha! On a level 40 and a prestigious Ivy Corsair. My damage caught up there. Wasn't quite the evoker, but that worked really well. Oh, there we go. Season total earned nearly 19k, so we're not quite at the weapon. That worked out really well, though. That last match there, where the evoker's winning each match and we managed to get him down. For me, that was just... I need to get rid of Shroud as quickly as possible. We just threw out every stun we had. And then by the time the Paladin got around to stunning, it was a job done. Oh, makes me so happy. I will not meet them in front of Stormwind, though. What was that mount, then? No, not the Plunderlord Crocodile. What's his goddamn name? Challenger one, please. Prestigious Ivory Corsair. That was it. Ivory. Oh, it's just getting on level 40. That's a nice looking horse. What's a blue version of this? I don't think I've seen that much. Is it one of those where it's red Horde side? Pretty neutral description. Interesting. Right, let's get queued up again. That was a big chunk of rating. That was a big old chunk of rating. By the time the queue ends and we get in, I think I have time for one more. Again, I don't want to push it today when my throat's starting to eat me alive. Take some meds, I think, just in case. Get a lemsip down me. Those of you in the UK know what I mean.
If you've got the metal, there are valuables waiting to be won.
Oh, go on then, Ruffius. I managed to sneak a crate just before that game. Maybe I can sneak another one. Not much sneak as it is helter-skelter flying there at top speed. Level 76. Not a threat. Another Alliance player. Okay, that bodes well. Oh my goodness. 2 chests today. Unfathomable.
Our miners had to leave their tools.
Sorry, look on, we're busy.
The Rubians attacked.
Keep an eye for any horde flyers. See if I can knock them out of the air if they do show up. Again, you whirl insurgent at someone, it takes them off their mount. Not necessarily helpful when they just, you know, mount up again and get over there, but it depends how high up you are and how far away from it you are. Okay. Unlucky! No, 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 no. I'm actually going to loot the chest. Don't stop me doing that. One, two, build, fight. Goddamn healer, that's why, that's what's happening. No dark reprimanding, please. I will go and help these friends. We got the chest together, I gotta help them. Oh, they're a group as well. That's not helping. Well, we got the chest. Screw yes. We're looking cute. Oh, it's gone up again. I say if that's the case and we're just jumping time, we'll do the one more once we get there. Again, I think we've made pretty good progress today, going from about 800 to 1500. That's pretty damn good. That last one giving us, what was it, 346 or something like that? Very nice indeed. Oh. Yeah. Bit of wax. Haven't done any wax today. That buff on him. Sign of we did it. We fought. We got the chest. It's fine. We lost the battle. We won the war. Wasp. No, go away. Don't like. Still in the arena, not... It is a stun, Haymaker, right? It is a stun.
Need to let off some steam.
It's just because it's a melee slap with a cast time. You know what I mean? So I constantly overlook it. In terms of getting the nullifying shroud off the evoker in that last match, you know, that's one of 3 right there. Ow, tree. I certainly need to be putting it in mind. That was a horde member there. for bounty. They are now gone. Is that bounty available to be collected? Usually you see a glowing bag somewhere if you're near enough by, but... Can you see one? They were hiding in the mountains. No, I think we just say we don't get that. You never knew. It's always a nice little bit of conquest as well, like the chests. And again, for reliability's sake, if you're starting PvP and faction doesn't really matter to you and you're making a new character for it or what have you, always worth checking where your server shards are in terms of Horde and Alliance balance if you want a slightly less stressful time. Again, 9 out of 10 times over here. At least on this set of EU ones, the Horde tends to outnumber us quite a wee bit, and have for a very long time. Even before the servers merged together a little bit with the phasing. So another part of the PvP problem is trying to get that faction balance down. Don't attack someone just doing the herbalism, my guy. It's okay. Couldn't tell if he threw a punch or if he was mining himself, but it looked like a punch. He was judging monks too harshly. Waxy lump, give. No. Overshot. Come back. Give me my ore. Did he overshot again? Please. I can't drive. There we go. Oh. The lazy overload. Teleport me to the next one. Lovely. Right, the 1500 just for the elite set. Where are we? Appearances, sets, Druid, the elite ones. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remaining helm, shoulders. Shoulders, of course, being the main part. I'm glad we have the gloves. The nice gloves. Again, I love this colour for it. That's why I wanted it. Wish there was more of a clear indication in-game when a season would end, but I suppose they don't want to tip their hand if content has to be pushed back or comes out earlier. They don't want a load of dates on the live game to then be proved wrong, I assume. Then people would get upset. I don't know, I'd rather hear if something needs more time, we're going to delay it. But once you announce it, you're locked into that to a point where people will get upset if you have to delay it. Like I was saying earlier about Elder Scrolls 6. We were that far out. Should never have announced it. Didn't need to go with the pressure of, oh, if they don't announce it, they're never making one. Like, there was this weird undercurrent of, oh, it's never going to come out because they haven't announced it. And that was always super weird to me because it's like, it's the follow-up to Skyrim. That game did okay. I'm pretty sure Bethesda will make another one of those. You know what I mean? Seemed a bit silly. Elder Scrolls Online seems to be trundling along just fine. Folks who are super into it are pretty happy with it. I've heard the last couple of expansions have been pretty solid. Every time I've tried it, I've gotten through the tutorial, taken a breath, a shop pop-up happens, and it's like, here's all the content you could be playing. Do you like the Thieves Guild? Well, you'll have to pay us for that quest line. And I can't even enjoy what's currently on offer because that's now always immediately in my head because you've had the shop bloody pop up. That's the side of player housing we would rather WoW didn't go. Yes, there are ways to earn some of these houses. In Elder Scrolls Online, you can earn some lovely stuff if you spend loads of hours and all this time. Awesome. Also, you can just buy them with real money. And there are some exclusive houses that you can only get with real money. So, ooh, you know what I mean? Starts to become a different problem. And WoW's already starting to push its monetization in a way that is getting very frustrating to people. Like the whole Brutosaur thing, $90, £60 mount. with more in-game functionality, not just a cosmetic at that point. People very upset. And they did that little bear mount first with the anvil on it as like what I assume was a test. See if people would buy it. The numbers said yep. And then that Brutosaur made loads and loads and loads of money. Whilst they fired more of their development team. So, you know, it's... I got a lot of hope for WoW with, again, like lead designers and like Ian and Holly. The business stuff that comes on high from above that, I'm never going to have faith in. But at least the game itself is mostly in a good spot. And they're building towards a more evergreen future for content, fairer systems that respects the player's time. Just again, how much will greed pay out in the end? They see this thing of the Brutosaur, then someone at Microsoft's like, right, we spent 69 billion getting this company, so you best start cranking out that cash. And the sub numbers are not enough, because it's never enough. I know. Not to be completely cynical for a bit. It's hard to have faith when this year is already, on the games industry side, starting with a load of firings again, like the past 2 or 3 years, in record highs. Makes you wonder why anyone would want to get into the business when it's hard enough as it is just to make a good game. And as we saw, stuff like Hi-Fi Rush doing really well. Don't know, it's like a third-person action rhythm game. Really cool. I'd love to get to it sometime. But that was made, sold well, did well, got some awards. They shut down the company. Luckily, they were acquired elsewhere, which that's a very rare occurrence to happen, especially for a slightly bigger studio. And they've let them make a sequel as well, so that's really cool. But to have it be successful and then get shut down by Microsoft, it's like, well, Microsoft, you've gone from trying to be really friendly towards the gamers and the community at large. Now Phil Spencer really talked the good talk, but the moments pushes have started to come to shoves. It's not gone over well, and they have not looked good doing it. And it's not like Sony are doing much better with all this massive live service push. Yeah, they cancelled the other week a God of War live service game. Which, after what happened with Concord, you think, fair enough. Don't know why you greenlit that to begin with. The folks playing God of War kind of weren't playing it for that. If you wanted to make a mythical god, like, multiplayer, fighty, live service thing, do it. Don't call it God of War, maybe. Maybe make something original for that. Rather than try and torpedo a franchise and the team currently making it. Ways and means, you know? But mind you, it's not like I'm a bloody expert neither. But video game design at uni. Did not succeed, suffice to say. But I do love this industry. I do love learning about it. And I love some games. Speaking of Arena, what are you doing? Shafting me. That's what you're doing, Arena Q. My bag's pretty full as well. I need to remember to go back to the war bank. I also need a quicker way to go from mounted to cat. Put something on a hotkey for it. Not a big issue. It's not like I'm in much danger out in the world. No. Give me that flower spider. Mine. Don't get involved. Oh no. Get a little more Nerubian butt. Very good, Bone Kitty. Very good. Man, I want more Drust stuff. I want them to go back into that creepy witch forest. With all the bones and the curses. And some genuinely creepy quests. Just on the Alliance side that I can remember. It's such a shame they never had the capability to bring more of that forward. Or even where you thought it was going to go. They were going to use all that stuff in Shadowlands and it just didn't make the cut. It's a shame. Maybe that's something after the Disco War of the Cosmos and Azeroth is over. You bring back witches and cults. In-house evils rather than entities from other realms. We are making friends with a lot of what would be enemies. We've got some gnolls on side. We've got kobolds on side. There's always been a couple of Murloc tribes that have been on side. Bet by the end of midnight we'll have some Naga on side. Whomst will we fight? Going forward once Last Titan's over. Sure, there's a big whiteboard somewhere at Blizzard with all this enemies and names being crossed off and ticked off. A lot of it will depend on how Iridicron, main villain, kind of main villain from Dragonflight, he kind of pieced out to enact his ultimate plan, which is essentially wait for the Titans to come back, lure them back, and then punch them to death. But whether he has any machinations beyond that, it's currently unknown. And who he might be working with. Could do some Elemental Lord stuff. We haven't seen the Elementals in a while, and they're technically... The Elemental Planes aren't necessarily aligned with all the other cosmic forces, I don't believe. Not in the same way.
There are valuables waiting to be won.
I know, we've already killed like 2 Fire Lords. Now, Kier was pretty cool, but I'm pretty sure he's not the Wind Lord anymore either. I think Neptulong went missing or something happened in the Shaman Order Hall, I can't remember. Therazane, the big Earth Lady, she's still about in Deep Home. But she was very clear, I am on side right now. Nope. You're Horde, not Alliance. Damn it. Oh, get me up there. Get me up there. I did not hit it fast enough. Cut your travel. Uh-oh. I made a mistake. I'll have my revenge. Hunt him down. Well, I'm going to die first to all these Warlock dots. No, Warlock! Curses. Saved his friend. Well played, Warlock. Well played. I'd have had that Hunter if it was just alone. I almost did enough damage to kill both of them, to be fair. Maybe if I'd gone bare form sooner and regened my health a little bit, that would have done it. Oh, I'm an idiot. I could have haymakered the Hunter off the top of that. Could have punched him off the... You exist, Haymaker. You exist. I know you exist. I'm sorry. Oh, dear. 21 minutes, Q. Come on. Come on. Spend a moment to go and take all my belongings back to Donegal. Get them in the war bank. Lest I forget. I'll also probably upgrade something with Conquest, to be fair. Maybe. Maybe get one piece of gear. That ring.
My directive is to serve you.
Alright. Knock all this in. Ooh.
My thanks.
Make that a proper null
patron.
stone. Yoink. Lovely stuff. A few more bits and bobs about. That's all of it. Let's go to gear. Enchanter's going to be busy. Bloody 5 of this adornment crystal recipe. It drops too much. Pop those in there as well.
Return
Third. Let's go see Tarib and Garib.
My directive is to serve you.
Sell all our junk. Oh, could hand in my weekly requisition before I forget.
Order. We must remember.
The same for my herbalism. Keep building up that knowledge. Undermine, despite being a goblin city, has profession stuff. That's a really annoying part of the Siren Isle, is that it doesn't have mining and herbalism just to chill about with. And I don't know why. The Forbidden Reach, when they did this kind of thing in Dragonflight, definitely did. It's a weird choice for the Siren Isle not to. There we go. Alright, let's go see near Ruffius.
I have calibrated
Conquest Lady, what do you
prices
got?
To be reasonable.
The ring's the worst bit I need to upgrade. So, have the Gladiator's Band. Can you get another one of those? Versatility and Mastery, I think. Or then bleed damage. Yeah.
My directive.
Okay. Then I need to buy... Ow. An enchant for it.
My directive is to serve
Gem,
you.
item enhancement, finger, versatility. Oh, but there were different ones. Cursed versatility is gets rid of mastery, well gives me 390, whereas radiant is just 315. That'll be why that one's the most expensive. Nearly all of my money. Oh!
Return and
I have to go back to the warband, take out some funds again. My main's going to be so upset. There we go, though. Very nice. Good set of upgrades so far. Sell that. What else was I thinking of? Oh, got some fish.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable.
Have that fish in the bank.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable.
And then withdraw. I don't know. 10k? I don't think we'll need that much necessarily, but we can always put it back in again.
My thanks to your
Bloody LQ. 26 minutes, please. Please. Starting to need another bio break, but if I go now, at 26 minutes, the queue will pop, and that will be a very sad end to the stream. Oh, well, I needed to take a leak, and then I came back and it was gone, but... Can you hold it forever, game? Please. Have mercy. Where's my transmogrifier? Come, distract me, ethereal friend.
I am looking forward to our negotiation.
Oh yeah, I did have a little setup for it, didn't I? My other ones. Oh yeah, that's when I just got out of Remix. I was trying to incorporate that Dark Shaman set. That, I wanted to get the Heritage set in there. And 3 was the more recent one. I was going for like an orange to green flowery nature glow. 670 gold! You are taking the piss! I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but to me, that's a bloody lot. If you just said I don't have loads in the bank, then selling it all. How much did it say on my conquest had been earned this season? It's 600 more conquest to be mailed our weapon. Or to be given the... They changed it, didn't they? We get a token now and then we can pick the weapon.
I have an extended supply of goods
Aye.
for Outlanders.
Angry spider sticks. Prefer a staff because it's just easier.
Return and peruse my inventory.
Which honor are we sat on? 600. Not enough for free gems yet. That'll be a ways off. Go, priest and mage. Run, mage! The void's coming! Oh, there we go. It saw the fight and said, go on then. Let's get you in there. The void keeps coming for that poor gnome. Alright. Let's try and make this one another win. Frost Mage, Devastation Evoker. Again, I wonder if it's the same one. Then Disc Priest and Frost Death Knight. What a strange look you've gone for, Frost Death Knight. Oh, you're Cervantes from Soul Calibur. At least that's what they're giving off. That's pretty good. Priest is very Inquisition and good to go. Yeah, it must absolutely be Cervantes. That's the vibe I'm getting immediately. Dread Pirate of the Damned. Mind you, I don't know if that would explain the 2 blue swords. Cervantes always had like the one big sword, the one little dagger. Man, I miss Soul Calibur as a franchise. The director of that is the same guy who directs Tekken. And Tekken just did better. Numbers wise. Could only afford to focus on one or you wouldn't have either, I think he said in an interview. Much sadness. It is the same. It is the same one. So we know what we're doing then. We're knocking out that shroud. Bleeds off. Come on. Need a bet. There again. Regen. No, no shroud. No, 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 no. Did they get the shroud anyway? Oh, good stunt, good stunt. Nature locked again. Oh, damn. Needed more cyclone there. I knew the evoker was going to be the problem. Didn't manage to blow anyone up straight away, so this Disc Priest doing really well at keeping us up there, I feel. See if the mage ends up going for him. Frost Death Knight a lot of magic resist, but I don't know how well they'll do against me putting some bleeds down, but we'll see. Oh, I got the shroud off anyway. Where was my backup? Get some bleeds on you. Okay, stuns up. More dots, please. Ow, ow, ow. Folks, go get him. I need to do a bit more off healing there. I was just so tunnel visioned on angry fight bite that evoker. Didn't realise the monk in the goddamn onesie. People in their silly costumes. It's a very elaborate staff for a onesie. Right, enough we go. And the frost is probably the way to go. I don't actually need to engage too early this time. Get some more bleeds about. Little bear. Keep them stunned. Ow, ow, ow. Can't line of sight it. Bang. Ooh, that was good. So rather than going for the bleed there, I was just bite, 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 bite. Spicy stuff. Only the one though. We'd have to win the next three. The next two rather. Difficult against the Evoker and the Frost Mage, who seem to be the ones putting out the most damage. Again, for me, it's get on the Evoker as quickly as possible, try to stop Nullifying Shroud, or at least knock it off really quickly. And see how we go from there. Coming for you, Evoker, and you know I am. Not going to let you get it up. Not going to let you Nullifying Shroud. No, no, no. Gonna be on your ass. Right, change form, goddammit. Change form. Get out of crowd controls. Self heals. Need to Barkskin. Oh, that cyclone pretty quick. Heal on Death Knight friend. Oh, mess. Swap there. Get a little bit of self-healing going. Not enough. There again. Get a little bit of dot going on this mage. Swap form, goddammit. Oh, it's straight into a stun. No, don't let him Nullify Shroud. Absolutely not. That's bad. Death Knight's going to go down. I need to be spreading my dots more on that one. I'm too focused on this Invoker. Just because of that last game, they blew up every other set of teams. It was really bad. I think there was a couple of moments though, if I jumped on to who the Death Knight was attacking, maybe we'd have got them down. Or maybe if the Death Knight had come and hit who I was hitting, you know? Mage has gone this way. Somewhere. Wait to bite. Ooh, nice grab. Get bleeds, this to bite, to heal, stun, go to trinket, into bear fob while I'm being focused. Out with that. Give me away. No. That mage. Oh, swap to you, swap to you. Yeah, I see the health going down. You just stand in the giant meteor, why don't you? Stand in it! Oh, barely to bear. Give me my regen. Give me my second regen. Damn. Oh, that's big damage coming in. There again. Regen again. Trying to get out of line of sight from the mage. Gonna be it. Oy. Lasted a while. Still really hard for me to see cyclone opportunities and capitalize on them. I still think harrying the Voker to get the nullifying shroud out the way first is very important. And Haymaker's going to be a useful tool in that. I only need the one combo point, really, to hit this. Get it straight on cooldown. Or stop it to begin with. Okay, there it is. Okay, there goes the shroud. Some stuff on you as well. What is that priest casting polymorph? What's happening there? Seriously, what was that all about? How is a priest casting polymorph? Can they nick a spell? What's happening? Right, into bite. Into another goddamn bite. Now I need to spot some more dots about. Uh-oh. It's about. Feet, one went down. And now we're at the point where rating can indeed go down. Look at that. See what I mean? This is why I was going for the devastation. Look at that damage done. It's massive. I mean, I did okay. I did more than the mage. I was only a little bit under the Death Knight. But look at that. Ridiculous. There's a huge amount of damage. But yeah, we're at the point where we're going to be really fighting for it now. But I didn't expect to get up to the 1500 mark straight away. Tomorrow we'll knock out our weekly stuff as usual. Pop to the Siren Isle, do profession stuff, get it done on reset day. Then we can spend the rest of the week back on the Druid. So what I'll say now though, folks, is thank you very much for watching. Enjoyed yourselves. Don't forget to hit that like button. Help push the video through the algorithm. Get more folks to come and enjoy some games with us. Speaking of, subscribe for more content on the channel. We're on the weekdays. 9 AM with World of Warcraft, 6 PM in the evenings with other games. Currently going through Remnant 2. We've got a bit more of the third DLC to do before we get into some boss rush. You can find playlists or on the live tab for all the prior streams we've done right here on the channel for your binge to your heart's content. So until next time, folks, much love. Take